Edie, you're traveling and you still needed to be on here. You still need to talk about this. What's going on? What are we discussing? And what is going on in your background?
And my background is my beautiful car, right? I am traveling today, but admittedly wanted to stop and have a great conversation with you because I know a week from today we will be in the midst of the Save Our Sites second annual conference in Oklahoma City. I know folks are getting really excited if my LinkedIn feed is any indication. And there's so many great, awesome, amazing folks coming and so many great sessions. So just a chance for KLF to weigh in and talk about what we're going to be doing, when we're going to be there, who we'd like to meet up with and talk to, and how exciting it is to have a second one.
The key thing about this is a lot of the voices I've spoken to for years, I get to
All
finally
right,
meet
that's one.
them in
Yep.
person. Whether you're
Yep.
talking to Dan Sfera, Brad Hightower, Edie Edens, I have never
I
met
know.
you.
We've never met in person. Nobody realizes this. Although I have to say, for whatever reason, I distinctly remember being on the phone with you last year while I was standing in the hallway at the SOS conference. I think you'd like called me for something, hey, do you have any advice on this? And I was like, dude, I'm at SOS. I'm a little busy right now. And you were like, well, not all of us are fancy and get to go to conferences.
But before I go to my session, I have one question for those people who are going to go. What are we eating in Oklahoma City? Because I don't know what Oklahoma City is known for.
Okay, when I go home to Oklahoma City, everyone will tell you something different. And obviously, I haven't lived there in quite some time. So definitely pay attention to your Brad Hightowers of the world when it comes to like updated references, because I'm not going to be as on my A game.
Yeah. Okay. Now going back to the question you actually asked, what am I talking about? I am actually talking about how do you respond to 483s? How do you avoid a 483? Why this is a problem? How do you prep for it? I know we have a bunch of giveaways in that space because I heard through the grapevine that you're doing giveaways and we weren't going to be stuck behind where we didn't have something. So I wasn't going to stand for this. So I've come up with some ideas. We're gonna put that as an option. So you guys
Great.
need to. We're doing a ED and have a little competition. Who's gonna show up to more of their like? How many more people are gonna show up to mine? I just want people to know that ED's great, but I'm better. So you should show up.
Costumes have been discussed. I'm just saying. Jess Thompson's all over me for upgrading
And
my
we
costume from last
and we
year
don't have
after the wig.
costumes. That's not fair. You're playing
Oh,
unfair.
I'm not playing unfair. I've got a wig you can borrow. Wink, wink. The wig's making an appearance. Like, come on, we can't have powdered wigs and not use them. No, and I love this conversation because I tell you, it's one thing to prevent getting a 483, and obviously that's where the bulk of your resources are spent. But for those folks who have experienced a 483, and I have, I mean, that's a really scary moment. And from the moment you get it, you have 15 days and you are on the clock. Like you don't have time to figure out how to respond or what to do. And your options are either, find someone who does know exactly what to do and retain them quickly, or, potentially navigate on your own. And I think folks do not, when I see the responses to 483s that then get a warning letter after, I mean, every one of them I'm reading, I'm like, I could have saved you. Like you're trying to say the right thing, but you said it all wrong, or you didn't give the actual justification that the FDA needs to take you seriously, or whatever it was.
Everyone's preparing for the inevitable. They will have a 483. Now, what do I do? We're not only will we talk about that a little bit, but how do you prevent that? What does your
Yeah.
audit readiness look like? How do you make sure that when people show up, they're going, oh, we know exactly what to do. We're not scared of
Yep.
this.
And the other thing that I am really big on with sites is there's no findings till the auditor walks out the door and issues the report.
Right.
It is a negotiation until they leave. Even after they leave, until that report is issued, it is a negotiation.
There you
Now, I'm
go.
not suggesting if they find really bad things that you can talk your way out of that. Let's
You're not
be
getting an
real.
informed consent. Let's be
Like, you
clear.
didn't consent 50 people, you're screwed. Also, very bad on you. But admittedly, if there is some justification, if there is a way you can go, look, I understand this is going to be some level of a finding, but I want to show you we had a rationale for what we did. I want to show you we caught it on our own. I want you to feel comfortable that we take this very seriously. We have processes in place to rectify situations like this. Then you might go from 483 to, okay, major findings, but we'll give you an opportunity to respond before we go that direct. You know what I mean? Like you can de-escalate it if you get real, if you're unable to justify, for starters, or heaven forbid, and this actually happens more often than I like to admit, you put the wrong person in the room. who gets a little mouthy with the auditor or can't take criticism the right way in that moment. And it's hard. I get it. They're calling your baby ugly. Like, I totally get it. I'm a mama. I would not be good with that. Or even had conversations with PIs who were clearly above my rank, if you will, in the hierarchy, but it was like, I don't want you to talk during this meeting. I want you to nod. I want you to smile. I want you to look engaged. And then I want you to look at me when you think about talking. And I will talk.
Two parts. Number one, I don't even want my PI in the room.
I know,
if I can
right?
avoid it. So in the end, you absolutely can't. You sometimes just have to bring them in. Yeah. But answer to the question being asked, and we'll talk about that in the session. So definitely show up. We need to talk about it. And there are going to be things that I'm trying to give away at SOS that literally no one in the world has seen yet. So Edye, you're going to find out a little bit more. Having said that, you mentioned, Edye, a few seconds ago, that what you want are things that show that you're taking the right steps. Yeah. Those are the policies, those are the procedures, and that's what you're talking about. So talk to us about that.
It is the opening session, because who doesn't want to talk SOPs at 8:30 on a Friday morning? Like, party, party, party. No, this is going to be a great session. It's certainly not mine alone. I have two fantastic co-panel speakers, Jen Pages and Scott Witt, and then Brad Hightower in the flesh, in the beard, is going to be our moderator. We actually put a poll out. If people haven't had a chance to answer it, go look it up on my LinkedIn page, just saying, like, what stage in the SOP life cycle are you most interested in this session? I mean, the way it's titled is very, should you tailor them? Can they be universal? Can you use templates? You know, what are the different use cases? But what we really sat down and talked about is, as a group, and given our experience as a group, is, you know, are you in that bucket of, I don't even know where to begin, or I don't even know why I need them, right? Which is a valid, like Brad can tell you, he started out with no SOPs, so there's some validity to that part of the life cycle. Are you in the scaling piece? Like, I get why I need them, but I only have 5 and I think I need 50. Like, how do I do that? How do I pick? How do I keep it moving when I have this full business? Are you in a place where you're talking about how to actually use them strategically? Like, how do you defend yourself from a sponsor? Are there certain trends that sites know and understand to have SOPs to prevent? And also, from the other side of the fence, from the sponsor and the CRO's perspective too, what are they expecting? And where would they say, you know, if you'd had an SOP, I wouldn't have been upset with you about this, but you didn't have an SOP. So how was I supposed to know? I can't audit you against something that doesn't exist. So really breaking down all those different like uses, and creating an opportunity for us to each speak from our depth and our part of the life cycle, and then really have an open forum and a floor for people to come in and go, like, I have these particular issues, and have us as a panel navigate answering those questions and giving that value. And then, yes, there will be a surprise for those who are in attendance. I think you'll be very pleased with what you'll receive. Like I said, this is just such a unique conference. I love that while we bring a myriad of very high level professionals across the industry, it has that local grassroots, like, support the site feel. And I'll be very excited, since I've already biased you clearly and shown you like pictures and information from last year, if you get that same impression, you know what I mean, when you're there, and how you feel about it compared to some of the others, right? Like, it has a very different feel than a DIA, right? Or a RAPS, or some of the other like big ones. But there's value in that. And that's part of what I really am excited to see. I'm most excited to see the growth. I mean, it's going to be bigger this year than last year. Last year was already a raging hit. You know, so to get to see how it grows and how it keeps going, and like you said, get to either see old friends or make new ones. I can't wait.
The one thing that really spoke to me, the spirit of what this was really, how do you give? And I felt like we dug in deep. I know at KLF, we've been talking about how excited we are. And I know we have been talking about how do we give away as much value as possible for free? Because that's what this conference is about. It's not about, I have a presentation, I'm going to tell you the 19 ways and then hire us. Please do hire us. But that's not what this is about.
But this is community. This is community supporting community. This is people coming together to solve real problems. And this is people wanting to share. Like, I don't know anyone who's speaking, exhibiting, you know, strongly bringing company presence who isn't talking about something, whether it's cool swag, whether it's, something like the giveaways we're doing, they're a little more like more functional to your business. Whatever, or some combination. Like truly, I don't know anyone who wants to show up empty-handed because they want to. And there's some folks who are doing things like, I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm just building a blanket for people to have a decompression space because I know what it's like to go to these conferences and be losing your mind. Like, you know what I mean? And that's just something people are doing because they're kind, which is amazing to be in that type of an environment. It's just amazing. So I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to it.
This is awesome. Thank you all. Edye, I can't wait to see you in person very soon. And stay tuned, listen in. We'll talk soon. Take care, guys. Call, click,